Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to create a quick training for you to go over 4 steps recruiting agencies can make to generate more qualified job orders and increase the number of qualified applicants that they interact with without having to rely on LinkedIn recruiters. So if you're an independent recruiter, a boutique agency owner, run an executive search firm, this video is for you because there is a massive challenge in this industry right now. And that challenge is it is just increasingly difficult to cut through the noise. Some of the technology and tools that we've been using for years and years just aren't as effective as they used to be. And it's time to be able to adapt and pivot. Okay. And when you understand how to adapt and pivot, then what you'll be able to do is cut through that noise and generate a series of leads that will allow you to grow your business automatically. Okay. And the 4 steps I'm going to share with you are going to help position you to become the most relevant recruiting authority in your marketplace. And that drives demand, and that enhances and increases response rate from our clients and our candidates. So let's go ahead and dive in. But before we dive fully in, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Donnie Gupton. I've been in the staffing recruiting industry for the last 5 years, and I'm an online marketing and lead generation coach. I'm not a recruiter here to teach you online marketing and lead generation. I'm an online marketer teaching recruiters how to online market and develop lead generation. And over the last 5 years, we've successfully helped hundreds of recruiters scale their business to multiple 6 figures, as well as even 7 figures, sharing exactly the strategy that we're using right now. So let's go ahead and dive out. So the number one problem that faces most recruiting companies, they're a commodity. The reality of it is, guys, doesn't matter what you think in your head. The reality of it is what your market sees on the outside looking in. And for most of you, you don't have positioning in the marketplace. And this is a critical thing. This is killing your online presence. Is you're trying to be everyone to everyone. You're trying everyone to everyone. Yeah. Trying to be everything to everyone. You're trying to be the jack of all trades, really the master of none. Okay. And this is really what's causing the lack of engagement and response, is because there's so many recruiters reaching out with in-mails and messages and voicemails and this, that, and the other. And when you're just another one, they're not going to respond to you at the level that you possibly can when you choose to stand out. Okay. You really want to focus on how you can stand out and separate yourself from the rest of the marketplace, and empower yourself, your team around you to really become the authority in the marketplace. So here's what this looks like. This looks like getting very clear on an ideal market. Okay. Crystal clear on what my ideal market looks like. And from there, once I know what my ideal market looks like, I can start to look at, hey, what are the pains? What are the problems? How can I truly help? Okay. And I get the opportunity to now position myself as being something in that market. And so now I can get clarity on my messaging. I can get clarity on my offers. And my offers is essentially how I help the marketplace. But it's very hard when you don't even know who you're trying to help to position yourself as anything. So it's critically important that you pick a niche and pick a specific market. Now, I know this is a challenge for a lot of you that have been generalists for years, because the thinking is, well, if I stay wide, then I'm have more opportunities. Look, you can recruit all the roles you want all day long that come your way. But if you want to grow a business and you want to do this systematically and you want to really be able to cut through the noise, you absolutely have to pick a niche, because you can now craft specific messaging for that market, which will now increase your response rate through time. As you really start to build your authority in this niche, everybody's going to start to view you as being the go-to recruiter. Okay. And so that's the number one thing, is you want to be able to stand out and separate yourself from the competition so you can great messaging. Okay. So make sure that you're standing out. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we have an automated lead machine. Now, I don't want you to start thinking automated lead machine and go, whoop, whoa, Donnie, I've been spammed all day on LinkedIn. That's not what I want. That's not this. Okay. Automated lead machines actually focus on the real ones, the ones that are going to drive an impact. What you need is going to focus on building a relationship and using the automated tool to start conversations rather than closing deals. I know you guys, and go ahead and raise your hand, I know you guys have all been pitched to in the LinkedIn inbox, and I know that you're tired of that. Now imagine what your prospect feels when you're not even using an automated tool, but you're using your manual outreach, and yet they just view you as another recruiter in their inbox again, and your approach is off and your messaging is off. And that's why you really want to be able to focus on multi-platform automation of tools, so you're not just relying upon LinkedIn. Having all your eggs in the LinkedIn basket is incredibly dangerous, especially as their costs continue to go up and the response rates continue to go down. I hear it every single day people talking to me about how LinkedIn Recruiter and in-mails just aren't as effective anymore. And you know that LinkedIn's really not on your side on that whole thing, right? Okay, good. Now that we got that out of the way, now let's talk about some of these other things that are out there. So you want to make sure that you're looking at tools that are going to be efficient, and they're not going to get you in trouble with LinkedIn. And when you're doing this right, you can actually have a tool that will increase your productivity and increase your team's productivity and efficiency, because these tools should also have follow-up. You've heard the saying before, the fortune's in the follow-up. If you haven't, I'll be the first one to introduce it to you. The fortune is in the follow-up. 6 to 7 touch points is what they say it will take somebody to finally recognize your name. And so if you're relying on one touch point, it doesn't matter if you're doing this manually or automated, you are leaving a lot on the table. But I'll tell you what, it's very hard to stay disciplined enough to manually follow up to 6 to 7 times with each individual prospect. If you do this tastefully and you're not pitching people all day long, then that's where this is at. That's really what I want to drive home, is I know a lot of you have experienced spam with automation, and that there's a whole different way where you can actually take and build relationships at scale. So you're going from this one-to-one approach to a one-to-many approach, but also keeping that reputation that you crave in the marketplace. So again, we really want to focus on having an automated lead machine there for you. Okay. The next thing that's causing a challenge for a lot of you guys is you're not present enough in the marketplace. And what I mean by this is with your social media presence, the market's awareness of you and your company isn't that of what your competitors are doing. And if you're behind on this now and you're going to still live in the story of, well, content's not a revenue driving activity, you're going to just fall further and further behind. Okay. You need to stay present. You need to stay top of mind. And content helps build you as an authority and a leader. And that's what a lot of, again, what we're talking about with the positioning is, you're not an authority and you're not a leader. And so that most people don't have a big reason to respond unless you just hit them when the stars align. And that's a real rough way to be able to run the business, especially if you're hoping for some predictability, right? So what you need is you need a content conversion system, okay? You need a clear strategy that warms up your prospects and makes you the obvious choice, without endless hours of time stressing about what to say and how to say it. So you want to be able to confidently go out and talk to your market about their pains and talk about their problems and talk about how you can help them. Share with them the opportunities that are out there. Share with them that the wins that you have, how your candidates are succeeding, how your clients are succeeding. Oh, and don't be afraid to share who you are as a person, because people buy people. That's why you're probably still watching this at some point, is might be some sort of connection with me here. Some of you might have already moved on and don't like me at all. But that's the whole idea, is you want to be able to put yourself out authentically so you can attract your ideal people. And content is one of the best ways to do this. When you have a content conversion system, this is where you start to be able to get inbound leads. This is where you build that authority and you get that inbound lead as a result. And you can also now nurture our prospects. Rather than everything having to be transactional and salesy, we can use content to build value and build relationships with our ideal market. Now, I know that a lot of my clients get bogged down because they think that content is going to take a ton of time and a ton of energy. And guys, all you need to do is just start telling stories. You're already sharing value on the phone with your clients every day. You're already sharing value with your candidates every day. And I will say this, and I'll say this very confidently, the number one revenue driving activity you can be doing in your recruiting business is creating content. The number one revenue driving activity you can be doing in your business is creating content. Because while you have your team and you manually hitting 50 to 100 a day, and I doubt that most of you are even hitting 100 a day, your competitors reaching thousands a day because they're leveraging automation, because they're leveraging the power of content in the marketplace. And that's actually creating and freeing up more time for them to be better on the phone and service their clients and candidates at a higher level. So change the stories. Content's where it's at. That's how you're going to build and attract your ideal clients and candidates to you. Okay, it's through that content conversion system. All right. And the last thing we need to do is we can't be reliant upon LinkedIn. I've said it before. If all of your eggs are in the LinkedIn basket, you are playing a very dangerous game. The cost of recruiter goes up every single year. Now they're limiting the amount of invites that you can send out. They're handcuffing us, guys. And so you have to be thinking outside of the box. Don't do this when it actually happens, when they completely slam everybody. Start proactive and start looking ahead. And that's why it's important that you have other channels: Facebook, email, Instagram, YouTube, podcasting, Pinterest. I don't know what it is, but you need to be focused everywhere where your market's at. And that's going to be a key thing for you to figure out, is where's your market? Because again, LinkedIn dependency is crazy. Cold calling has been dying and it's still a slow death. And you're just lost in the noise, okay? And when you can show up across multiple channels, you can become the most top of mind choice in the marketplace, okay, which will increase the number of clients that you get, which will increase the demand that you have, which will allow you to say no to clients that don't want to work with you, okay? And showing up across multiple channels now gives you more places to attract your ideal candidates as well, okay? There's ponds everywhere. There's ponds everywhere, and you need to focus on how you can build those ponds. If not, you're just going to get lost in the noise. And so having a multi-channel, multi-platform presence ensures that we're the most top of mind choice, increasing our demand for lead generation. Okay. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and you might be going, whew, that's a lot of time, but there's systems you can put into place, and there's triggers that you can put into place that all of this happens automatically while you're still focused on the revenue driving activities in your business. Okay. And I know that some of you might have this story, well, my clients aren't on LinkedIn, or my clients aren't on Facebook, or my clients aren't Instagram. Yes, they are. Okay. Not all of them, but some of them are. They're all people too, right? My candidates hang out everywhere, and it's your job as a recruiter now to find out how you can maximize these platforms and do it in a way that, in an authoritative way, that is going to increase your response rate without wasting a bunch of time and energy doing this. Because I can tell you that my friend who's employee number 5 at Zoom, the Zoom that actually just went public a couple of years ago, he's now worth like a couple $100 million. I see him on Facebook and Instagram every day. And if you wanted to get into a salesperson and you wanted to, help the Zoom build out their sales team, he'd be the guy you'd want to talk to. So stop telling the stories that your ideal prospects aren't there. Okay. The world is changing and evolving, and it's time that you change and evolve with it. You need to win in face-to-face. You need to win on the internet. You need to win on mobile. You need to win in the inbox, and you need to have a clear strategy to do that. Okay. And this is what I realized a couple of years ago for myself, is that I was working with my dad's business, and we were able to grow that business from under $1 million to over $6 million in a 3-year span using online marketing and lead generation. And where that led me was I didn't want to be doing that anymore. I wanted to help other people do this. And so I started helping a friend in the staffing and recruiting industry, and the rest is history. That's how I ended up in this industry. And for the first few years, I helped people doing this and implementing the systems by themselves. And now we've developed a process known as the relevant recruiter method. And we've helped literally hundreds of recruiters, executive search firm owners, staffing agency owners that are all struggling with generating enough qualified leads and attracting their ideal candidates, to systemize that process and become the most relevant recruiting authority in their marketplace. So guys, if you're watching this video by now you might understand that I've got a little offer for you, and here it is. What I want to do is I just want to open up my calendar and hop on a quick phone call with you. And on this phone call, we'll typically chat for about 30 to 45 minutes. And this call is going to be all about you and us talking about where you're at now, where you want to go, and what might be holding you back from getting there in this moment in time right now. And then we'll talk about the relevant recruiter method, and we'll talk about how it can, apply to your business specifically. We'll give you a very clear plan to action, and you can take that plan to action and you go on your merry way. Okay. But we also have developed a coaching program specifically for staffing agencies and recruiting agencies and executive search firms that will help them automate their lead generation, become the most relevant recruiting authority in their marketplace, and do this step by step so they don't have to do it on their own, with a proven system, and they're not going to be doing the same things as everybody else in town. Okay. So go ahead and book this call. It's DonnieGupton.com/book a call. There's going to be a button or a link below for you to be able to click on, but it's DonnieGupton.com/book a call. Come talk with me. Let's work on you becoming the most relevant recruiting authority in your marketplace in 2021. This is Donnie Gupton. We'll see you in the next video.